I'm Cheska Brown, 29 years old, and 3 months ago, I gave my brother my kidney. Today, I'm supposed to be celebrating his recovery. Instead, I'm standing in front of my bathroom mirror, popping pain medication, and wondering why getting dressed feels like climbing a mountain. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The surgical scar runs across my left side, angry and pink against my skin. I trace it with my finger, feeling the ridge of tissue where they cut me open to save Ethan's life. My body kept a piece of him alive. Now it's struggling to keep me going. I pull on a loose sweater that hides the scar and grab my keys. The drive to Ethan's suburban house takes 20 minutes. 20 minutes where I practice smiling in the rearview mirror. My face looks tired, hollow. I haven't slept through the night since the surgery. Chronic fatigue, the doctors call it. Your body needs time to adjust to functioning with one kidney. Time. That's all anyone tells me I need. Ethan's house appears around the corner, a 2-story colonial with a perfectly manicured lawn. I park behind Vanessa's minivan and sit for a moment, gathering energy. Through the front window, I can see movement, warm light, the kind of family scene that makes you forget about the cost behind it. Aunt Cheska! The front door flies open before I even reach the porch. Lily, 5 years old with dark hair and pigtails, launches herself at my legs. I catch her, bending carefully to avoid pulling my incision. "Hey, Lilybug," I say, forcing brightness into my voice. "What have you been up to?" "I made you a picture." She grabs my hand, tugging me inside. "It's you and me and Noah and Mommy and Daddy. We're all holding hands." The house smells like roasted chicken and garlic bread. Vanessa's cooking. My stomach growls, despite the knot of anxiety sitting in my chest. In the living room, 3-year-old Noah is building a tower with blocks, his tongue sticking out in concentration. "Aunt Mama!" he shouts when he sees me, abandoning his blocks to run over. He crashes into my legs with the full force of a toddler who doesn't understand that Aunt Cheska's body is still healing. I steady myself against the doorframe. "Hey, buddy." "Wow, that's quite a tower." "Aunt Mama!" Vanessa's voice comes from the kitchen, warm, but with an edge I can't quite place. "You made it." She appears in the doorway, wiping her hands on a dish towel. Vanessa Rivera Chen, 34, high school biology teacher, mother of 2. The woman whose children I carried in my body because hers couldn't. We've never talked about what that means. Not really. We smile and hug and pretend the biology doesn't matter. "Traffic wasn't bad," I say, which is a lie. Traffic was fine. I just sat in my loft for an hour trying to convince myself to come. Dinner's almost ready. Ethan's in the study finishing up a work call. She looks at me for a beat too long, then turns back to the kitchen. "Why don't you help the kids wash up?" Lily grabs my hand again, chattering about her kindergarten class while I guide her to the bathroom. She climbs onto the step stool and turns on the water, soap bubbles forming under her small hands. "Does your tummy still hurt from helping Daddy?" she asks, her eyes meeting mine in the mirror. My breath catches. "Sometimes," I say carefully, "but it's getting better." "Mommy said you were very brave." She rinses her hands, water splashing everywhere. "She said you gave Daddy a special present that no one else could give him." I hand her a towel, my throat tight. "Your daddy needed help, and I was happy to do it." The words feel automatic, rehearsed. I've said them so many times in the past 3 months. To doctors, to concerned friends, to distant relatives who call to tell me how wonderful I am. Each time, the words feel less like truth and more like a script I'm performing. "Cheska!" Ethan's voice booms from downstairs. "Get down here! Dinner's ready!" Lily bounds out of the bathroom, and I follow more slowly, one hand pressed to my side. The dining room table is set with Vanessa's good dishes, Candles lit, a feast spread across the surface. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, the salad I mentioned liking once 6 months ago. Ethan stands at the head of the table, and for a moment, I see him as he was 3 months ago, gray-faced and bloated from kidney disease, barely able to stand. Now he looks healthy, ready-cheeked, alive. My kidney did that. My body saved his life. "There she is," he says, grinning, "the woman of the hour." I slide into my chair, avoiding his eyes. Noah climbs into the seat next to me, pressing his small body against my arm. "Sit by me, Aunt Mama." "Noah, she's Aunt Cheska," Vanessa corrects gently, but there's no conviction in it. She's been letting him call me that since he learned to talk. This strange hybrid title that makes me both aunt and mother, neither and both. Ethan raises his wine glass, and everyone else follows. I lift my water glass, alcohol still on my restricted list post-surgery. "I want to make a toast," Ethan says, his voice getting thick with emotion. 3 months ago, I didn't know if I'd be here. The doctor said my kidney function was at 15%. I was looking at dialysis for the rest of my life, or worse. He pauses, his eyes finding mine across the table. And then, my baby sister, my Cheska, she stepped up. Without hesitation, she said yes. She went through surgery, gave me a piece of herself, literally saved my life. Lily watches wide-eyed. Noah fidgets with his napkin. Vanessa's smile looks strained. I forced myself to smile, to nod, to accept the gratitude that feels like a weight pressing down on my chest. "I'm just glad you're healthy, Ethan. That's all that matters." We eat, conversation flowing around me. Ethan talks about going back to work, his software engineering projects picking up again. Vanessa mentions Lily's upcoming dance recital and Noah's preschool application. I push food around my plate, eating small bites that sit heavy in my stomach. After dinner, after the kids have demolished 2 slices of chocolate cake each, Ethan and Vanessa exchange a look. It's quick, loaded with meaning I can't quite read. "Cheska," Ethan says, standing up, "can we talk to you? In the study?" My pulse quickens. "Sure. What's up?" "Just, let's talk privately." He's already moving towards the hall like, Vanessa following. A glance at the kids. Lily has returned to her coloring book, Noah to his blocks. They're absorbed in their own worlds, the worlds I helped create by carrying them, birthing them, handing them over to their parents like living gifts. The study is Ethan's space, walls lined with books he's never read, and framed photos of the family. There's one of Vanessa, visibly pregnant with Lily, except it's not Vanessa, it's me. 8 months along, my belly swollen and my face tired, but smiling. Another photo shows me holding newborn Noah in the hospital, the moment before I passed him to Vanessa, the moment before he became officially theirs. I sink into the leather armchair, suddenly exhausted. Ethan perches on the desk, Vanessa stands by the window, her arms crossed. "So," Ethan begins, and there's something nervous in his energy. "We wanted to talk to you about something important, something we've been discussing for a while now." Vanessa won't look at me. She's staring out the window at the darkening street. "Okay," I say slowly. "You know how grateful we are for everything you've done. Lily and Noah, they're perfect. Our family is perfect." He pauses, but Vanessa and I, we've always wanted 3 kids. We talked about it before we even got married. My stomach drops. "We know it's a lot to ask," he continues quickly. "We know you just went through surgery and you're still recovering, but we've talked to the doctors and they said in a few months, once you're fully healed from the kidney donation, there's no medical reason you couldn't carry another baby for us." The room tilts slightly. I grip the armrest. "We want to complete our family," Ethan says, his voice soft now, pleading. "We want one more child, Cheska. And we want you to help us, like you did before." Vanessa finally turns from the window. Her eyes are red-rimmed, but she's not crying. She looks trapped. "I know it's asking a lot," Ethan repeats, "but you're so good at it. The pregnancies were smooth both times. You're young, healthy, your body bounces back, and more than that, your family. Our kids carry your DMA already, in a way. You're part of them. My mouth is dry. Ethan, He interrupts. Just think about it. We're not asking for an answer tonight. Just think about it. For us, for Lily and Noah, they'd love having another sibling. And Mom, if she were here, she'd want us to have the family we dreamed of. She'd want you to help us. There it is, the invocation of our dead mother, the trump card he's been holding since she died when I was 16. Mom would want this. Mom would want me to sacrifice everything for Ethan's happiness, just like I've been doing for 13 years. Since the night Mom died and made me promise to take care of Ethan. I hear myself say, I need to think about it. My voice distant, disconnected.
Telling and preparing this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. How do I say no to the people I love most, when saying yes is all I've ever known how to do? The scar on my abdomen throbs, a dull ache that reminds me every moment of what I've already given, and now they want more. I reach for my phone and open my contacts. My finger hovers over Grace's name, my best friend, the one person who might understand. But it's late and I don't know what I'd say. I don't have words yet for the feeling crushing my chest. Instead, I set the phone down and curl onto my side, one hand pressed against my scar, protective and futile. Tomorrow, I tell myself, tomorrow I'll figure out what to say, how to feel, whether I can do this again. But tonight, in the darkness of my empty loft, I already know the truth I'm not ready to face. I can't do this again. I can't give any more pieces of myself away. And I have no idea how to tell them that without losing everything. I wake up at 6 a.m. to my alarm, which is optimistic considering I only fell asleep around 4. My body feels like it's made of concrete, every movement requiring conscious effort. This is the new normal, 3 months post-surgery. Chronic fatigue, the doctors say. Your remaining kidney is working overtime. Give it time. Time. Always time. I have my follow-up appointment with Dr. Okonkwo at 9 a.m. I drag myself through a shower, pull on jeans and a loose button-down that doesn't press against my incision, and grab a protein bar I won't eat. The drive to the medical center passes in a blur of gray Portland sky and morning traffic. The waiting room smells like antiseptic and old magazines. I check in, take a seat near the window, and pull out my phone. 3 more texts from Ethan overnight. Just wanted you to know we're serious about this. Vanessa and I talked more last night. We really think this would complete our family. Let me know when you want to discuss details. I turn my phone face down and close my eyes. A news program plays on the waiting room TV. Something about the rising cost of healthcare. Ironic, considering I gave away an organ for free. Cheska Brown? A nurse appears in the doorway, clipboard in hand. I follow her back through the maze of examination rooms. She takes my vitals, blood pressure slightly low, weight down 5 pounds since my last visit, temperature normal. She marks everything on her chart with efficient strokes. Dr. Okonkwo will be right in, she says, closing the door behind her. I sit on the examination table, the paper crinkling under me, and stare at the anatomy posters on the wall. There's one showing the urinary system, 2 kidneys colored bright red on either side of the spine. I imagine mine, a single kidney working double time to filter my blood, keep me alive, do the job that used to be shared between 2. A knock and Dr. Sarah Okonkwo enters. She's 45, Nigerian-American, with close-cropped natural hair and the kind of direct gaze that makes lying impossible. She's been my doctor since before the first surrogacy, 7 years ago. She's seen me pregnant twice, watched me donate an organ, documented every sacrifice my body has made. Cheska, she says, settling into a rolling chair with my file. How are you feeling? Tired, I admit, but I think that's normal. Let's look at your results. She pulls up my blood work on the computer screen. Your creatinine levels are still elevated, which means your kidney is struggling a bit with the workload. Not dangerously high, but higher than I'd like to see at 3 months post-donation. My stomach tightens. What does that mean? It means your body is still adjusting. Your remaining kidney is handling the filtration, but it's working hard. Your iron is also low, which explains the fatigue. She turns to face me fully. Cheska, I need to ask you, are you taking care of yourself? Resting enough? Eating properly? I think about the protein bar in my purse, the meals I've skipped, the sleep I can't get. I'm trying. Dr. Okonkwo's expression softens slightly. I know recovery is hard, but your body went through major trauma. You need to prioritize healing, not push through like everything is normal. I know, I say quietly. She makes some notes on her computer, and I think the difficult part of the appointment is over. Then I hear myself say, almost casually, my brother and his wife asked me to be their surrogate again, for a third time. Dr. Okonkwo's hands freeze over her keyboard. She turns slowly, and the look on her face makes my chest constrict. They asked you what? To carry another baby for them. They want 3 kids total. The words sound absurd when I say them out loud. They asked me a few days ago, at dinner. Dr. Okonkwo closes her laptop with a decisive snap. Cheska, I am going to be very direct with you right now. Are you seriously considering this? I don't know. I told them I'd think about it. She stands up, crosses her arms, and looks at me with an intensity that makes me want to sink into the examination table. Let me show you something. She pulls up my medical file on the screen, scrolling through years of records. You've been pregnant twice. Both times, your body handled it well, I'll grant you that. But look here. She points to numbers I don't understand. This is your AMH level from your last fertility screening 2 years ago. Your egg reserve was already declining then. You're 29 years old, Cheska. For most women, that's young, but you've been through 2 full-term pregnancies and a major organ donation. She pulls up more results. Your current iron levels, your kidney function, your hormone markers. Your body is in stress mode. It's working overtime just to maintain baseline health. And you're asking me if you should undergo another pregnancy? I didn't say I was going to. You said you'd think about it, which means part of you is considering it. Her voice isn't angry, but it's firm. Cheska, I've been your doctor for 7 years. I've watched you give birth to 2 children for your brother. I've watched you donate a kidney to save his life. And now, 3 months post-surgery, while you're still recovering, while your body is still struggling to adjust, they're asking for more. I can't look at her. My hands twist in my lap. Dr. Okonkwo sits back down, her voice softer now. I need to ask you something, and I need you to really think about the answer. When do you plan to be pregnant for yourself? The question hits me like a physical blow. What? You've been pregnant twice for other people. You're 29 years old. Your fertility is declining. When are you planning to have your own children, if that's something you want? I haven't really thought about it. You haven't thought about it? Dr. Okonkwo repeats. Cheska, you've spent so much time giving birth to other people's dreams that you haven't considered your own reproductive future? It's not like that. Ethan needed help. Vanessa can't carry. I was able to, so I did. Twice. You did it twice. And then you gave him your kidney? At what point does helping become self-destruction? The words hang in the air between us. I can't give you medical clearance for another surrogacy. Not now, probably not ever, given your history. If your brother's doctors try to find someone else to approve it, I'll make sure they have your complete medical file. You need to prioritize yourself. You need to ask yourself what you want, not what everyone else needs from you. I clutch the referral forms in my hand. What if my want doesn't matter? What if family is supposed to come first? Family is supposed to be mutual. It's not supposed to be one person bleeding themselves dry while everyone else takes. That's not family. That's exploitation. The word hits me hard. Exploitation. Is that what this is? Make an appointment with Dr. Brennan, she says, walking back to her computer, and schedule a consultation at the Fertility Preservation Clinic, not to freeze eggs for your brother's future children, for your own. If you decide you don't want kids, that's fine. But make that choice consciously, not because you've already given away your reproductive capacity. She prints out my visit summary and hands it to me. I'm prescribing iron supplements for the anemia. Continue resting, stay hydrated, no heavy lifting. And Cheska, She looks at me seriously. Learn to say no. It's not a dirty word. It's self-preservation. I leave the office in a daze, clutching the referral forms and my visit summary. The morning has turned gray and drizzly, typical Portland weather. I sit in my car in the parking lot, staring at the papers in my lap. Dr. Lisa Brennan, PhD, specializes in donor trauma and family dynamics. Pacific Northwest fertility preservation, egg freezing consultations. I pull out my phone. There are 2 more texts from Ethan. Hope your doctor's appointment went well. Did you ask the doctor about the surrogacy? What did she say?
My hands are shaking as I type a response. Appointment was fine, still recovering. Need more time to think about everything. His response is immediate. Take all the time you need. No pressure. Just excited about the possibility. No pressure, he says, but the texts keep coming, the enthusiasm pushing at me like a wave I can't escape. I look at Dr. Okonkwo's referrals again. When do you plan to be pregnant for yourself? The truth is, I've never let myself think about it. Being pregnant was something I did for Ethan and Vanessa. It was a service, a gift, a sacrifice. It was never about me, never about what I wanted. Do I want children of my own? I don't know. I've been Aunt Cheska, Aunt Mama, the woman who births babies and hands them over. I've never imagined being just mom. I start the car and pull out of the parking lot, but instead of going home, I drive aimlessly through Portland's streets. The city is waking up fully now. People rushing to work, living their lives, making their own choices. My phone rings. Grace. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pull over and pick up. Hey, I say, my voice rough. Cheska, you okay? You sound weird. And just like that, the dam breaks. I tell her everything. The dinner, Ethan's request, Dr. Okonkwo's warning, the referrals clutched in my hand. The words pour out in a rush, and Grace stays silent on the other end, just listening. When I finish, she's quiet for a long moment. Then, Cheska, I'm coming over, right now. We need to talk. Grace, you don't have to. I'm coming over, she repeats firmly. Go home, I'll be there in 30 minutes. She hangs up before I can argue. I sit in my parked car, watching the rain streak down the windshield, and realize that for the first time in 3 months, I don't feel entirely alone. Dr. Okonkwo's question echoes in my mind. When will you be pregnant for yourself? Maybe never. Maybe I've already given away that future, piece by piece, pregnancy by pregnancy, organ by organ. Or maybe, and this thought terrifies me, maybe it's not too late to choose differently. I pull back onto the road and drive towards home, the referrals on my passenger seat like a promise I'm not sure I'm ready to keep. But for the first time since Ethan asked me to give more, I'm starting to wonder, what if I said no? What if I chose myself? What would that even look like after 13 years of choosing everyone else? I don't have answers yet, but as I park in my building's garage and take the elevator up to my loft, I realize something has shifted. Dr. Okonkwo planted a seed, not the one Ethan wants, but a different kind. The seed of a question I've never let myself ask. What do I want my life to be? And for once, I'm starting to think the answer might not include sacrificing everything I am for everyone else's dreams. I'm sitting on my couch staring at the referral forms when Grace bursts through my door. I gave her a key years ago, back when we were roommates in college, and she never gave it back. Right now, I'm grateful for it. Okay, she says, dropping her purse on my kitchen counter and heading straight for my wine rack. We're talking about this. All of it. Grace Park is 30, a family law attorney with sharp eyes and sharper words. She's child-free by choice, drives a Tesla, and takes exactly zero nonsense from anyone. We met freshman year at Portland State when she caught me crying in the library over a failed chemistry exam. She bought me coffee, told me chemistry was stupid anyway, and we've been inseparable ever since. She pours 2 glasses of red wine, hands me one, then sits down next to me and picks up the referral forms on the coffee table. Donor trauma specialist, fertility preservation. Jesus, Cheska,
This is serious. I know. Do you? She sets down the forms and turns to face me fully, because from where I'm sitting, you're still considering doing this again, after everything. I'm not. I stop. Am I considering it? I don't know what I'm doing. Grace takes a long sip of wine. I need to show you something. Hold on. She gets up and retrieves her laptop from her bag, opening it on the coffee table. After a few clicks, she pulls up a folder labeled, simply, Cheska. What is this? Documentation, Grace says. I've been keeping track for years. I knew this moment was coming. She opens the first file. It's an email from me, dated 7 years ago. The subject line reads, I got in. I lean forward, my chest tightening. As I read my own words from the past, Grace, you won't believe it. Columbia accepted me into their documentary program. Full scholarship. I start in September. This is everything I've ever wanted. I'm going to New York. I'm actually doing this. I don't remember sending that, I whisper. You did. You were so excited you called me at 2 a.m. screaming. Grace scrolls to the next email, dated 2 months later. Grace, I need to talk. Ethan and Vanessa asked me to be their surrogate. They've been trying to have a baby for 3 years and nothing's working. Vanessa's devastated. Ethan says I'm their only hope. I know the timing is bad with Columbia, but it's family. I can defer for a year, right? It's just 1 year. My hands shake as I set down my wine glass. Grace opens another file. Here's your deferral letter to Columbia. First time. She opens another. Here's the second deferral 2 years later when they asked you to carry Noah. And here, she pulls up a final document. Here's the email from Columbia saying they couldn't hold your spot any longer. You'd missed too many deferral deadlines. I stare at the screen, at the words that end with, we wish you the best in your future endeavors. I forgot, I say quietly. You didn't forget. You buried it. Grace closes the laptop. You've been burying everything you want for 13 years, Cheska, ever since your mom died. The mention of my mother makes my throat tight. Don't. We have to talk about her. She's the reason you can't say no. Grace, your mom died when you were 16. You were a kid. Ethan was 20, an adult. But somehow, you became the one responsible for him. Why? I stand up, needing to move, needing space. Because she asked me to. She made me promise. Show me. What? Show me where she made you promise. I want to see it. My hands are shaking now. Grace, I can't. Yes, you can. Where do you keep her things? I gesture weakly towards my bedroom closet. Grace walks past me, and I follow, watching as she opens the closet door and pulls out the cardboard box I haven't touched in years. The box labeled, Mom, in my teenage handwriting. She carries it to my bed and opens it. Inside are pieces of my mother. Her favorite scarf, still smelling faintly of her perfume. Photos from before she got sick, a cookbook with her handwritten notes in the margins, and at the bottom, wrapped in tissue paper, my journal from that year. Grace pulls it out and hands it to me. Read it. I can't. Cheska, read it. My hands shake as I unwrap the tissue paper. The journal is purple, covered in stickers I thought were cool at 16. I open it to a page marked with a dried flower, and there it is. My handwriting, young and desperate. September 15th. Mom died today. The cancer took her so fast. 1 year from diagnosis to gone. I held her hand at the end. She could barely talk, but she squeezed my hand and whispered, Take care of your brother. Promise me. Don't let him be alone. I promised. I said, I promise I'll take care of Ethan. I promise I'll make sure he's happy. I promise I won't let him be alone. She smiled and closed her eyes. 3 hours later, she was gone. Ethan is devastated. He locked himself in his room and won't come out. Dad's useless, just sitting in the garage, staring at nothing. It's up to me. I have to hold everyone together. I have to keep my promise. I won't let her down. I'll take care of Ethan, no matter what. The words blur as tears fill my eyes. Grace sits beside me, her hand on my shoulder. You were 16. Your mother was dying. She was scared for her son. She asked you to look out for him, and you heard it as, sacrifice everything for him forever. She made me promise. She asked you to take care of him, not to give you your organs, not to be his surrogate 3 times, not to give up Columbia and your career and your own life. Grace takes the journal from my hands. Cheska, you're misinterpreting what she asked. Grace stands up, pacing my small bedroom. Your mom loved you. If she could see what you've done for Ethan, 2 surrogacies, a kidney donation, giving up your entire future, don't you think she'd be horrified? Don't you think she'd tell you to stop? I don't know. I do. Because I knew your mom. Cheska, I met her. She came to our dorm room that one time, remember? She brought us cookies and told me to make sure you didn't study too hard. She wanted you to be happy. She wanted you to live your life. The memory surfaces. My mom in our tiny dorm room, smiling, healthy, before the diagnosis, telling me she was proud of me for getting into college, for chasing my dreams. She wouldn't want this, Grace says firmly. She wouldn't want you disappearing piece by piece. Ethan has weaponized her memory, and you've let him because you were traumatized and 16 and desperate to keep some piece of her alive. I look at the journal, at my desperate teenage.
If he hates you for setting boundaries, then his love was always conditional. And that's not your fault, Cheska. That's his. I pull my hands away, standing up and walking to my small window. Outside, Portland is gray and drizzly. People hurrying past with umbrellas, living their lives, making their own choices. What if I'm nothing without this? I ask. What if being the giver, the helper, the one who sacrifices, what if that's all I am? Then you find out who you are when you stop. Grace joins me at the window. I've watched you for 13 years, Cheska. I've watched you shrink and shrink until you're almost invisible. The woman who got into Columbia, who wanted to make documentaries, who had dreams and plans and a future, she's still in there. But she's suffocating under all this obligation and guilt. She pulls out her phone and starts typing. I'm sending you something, a support group. It's for surrogates and living donors who've dealt with family exploitation. My phone buzzes. I look at the message. A meeting address, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'm not going to a support group. Yes, you are, because you need to hear from people who've been where you are, people who understand what it's like to have your body treated as a family resource. Grace, go to one meeting, just one. If you hate it, you never have to go back. But Cheska, you need to understand that what's happening to you isn't normal. It's not what family is supposed to be. I look at the address on my phone. A community center basement, the kind of place where people gather to share their wounds and try to heal. I'll think about it. No, you'll go. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I'll drive you if I have to. Grace picks up her wine glass. Now, I want you to do something for me. I want you to look through the rest of that box. Really look at it. Remember who your mom was, not just the dying woman who asked you to take care of your brother. Remember what she wanted for you. After Grace leaves, promising to check on me tomorrow, I sit on my bed with the box of my mother's things. I pull out photos one by one. Here she is at my 8th grade graduation, beaming with pride. Here's one from my 16th birthday, 2 months before the diagnosis, her arm around me as we laugh at something Dad said. Here's a card she gave me for my high school graduation. Cheska, I'm so proud of the woman you're becoming. Chase your dreams. Make art. Be brave. Love, Mom. Chase your dreams. Make art. Be brave. I find more things in the box. A program from my high school film festival where my documentary about our neighborhood won first place, my acceptance letter to Portland State's film program, festival badges from the small competitions I entered in my early 20s before the first surrogacy. Evidence of a life I was building, evidence of dreams I had before I buried them under obligation. At the bottom of the box, I find something I'd forgotten, a DVD labeled Mom's Messages. I remember now. Toward the end, when she knew she was dying, she recorded video messages for Ethan and me. I watched mine once, right after she died, and never again. It was too painful. My hands shake as I dig out my old laptop, the one with the DVD drive. I slide the disc in and wait for it to load.
My mother's face appears on screen, then from the cancer, but still her, still smiling. "Hi, baby girl," she says, and my heart breaks all over again. "If you're watching this, I'm gone. I'm so sorry I can't be there for your life, for all the moments I'm going to miss. But I want you to know how proud I am of you." Tears stream down my face. "You're so talented, Cheska. Your films, your art, your way of seeing the world, it's special. Don't lose that. Don't let fear or obligation or anything else stop you from chasing what you love." She pauses, coughing. "I know I asked you to look after Ethan. He's going to need support, especially in the beginning. But sweetheart, that doesn't mean you sacrifice your life for his. It means you love him, you're there for him, but you also live your own life. You have to live your own life." My breath catches. "Promise me something," she continues. "Promise me you'll chase your dreams. Promise me you'll make art. Promise me you won't disappear into other people's needs. You're allowed to be selfish sometimes, Cheska. You're allowed to put yourself first. That's not being cruel. That's being human." The video ends. My mother's face freezes on the screen, mid-smile, forever 48 years old. I sit in the silence of my loft, my mother's words echoing in my head. You're allowed to put yourself first. That's not being cruel. That's being human. All these years, I thought I was keeping my promise to her, but I got it wrong. She didn't want me to sacrifice everything. She wanted me to live. I pick up my phone and look at the support group information Grace sent. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Then I look at the referral forms from Dr. Okonkwo, Dr. Lisa Brennan, Pacific Northwest Fertility Preservation. And I look at the box of my mother's things, evidence of who I was supposed to become before I lost myself in being what everyone else needed. For the first time in 13 years, I let myself ask the question, what do I want? Not what does Ethan want, not what would Mom want, what do I want? I want to stop being tired all the time. I want to stop feeling like my body belongs to someone else. I want to make films again. I want to chase the dreams I buried. I want to find out who Cheska Brown is when she's not busy being everyone's savior. I want to say no. The thought terrifies me. But sitting here in my small loft, surrounded by evidence of all the lives I could have lived, I realize something. I'm terrified of saying no, but I'm more terrified of disappearing completely. I pick up my phone and text Grace, "I'll go to the meeting tomorrow." Her response is immediate. "Proud of you. This is the first step." I set down my phone and look at my reflection in my darkened window. My face is tear-stained and tired, but there's something else there too. Something I haven't seen in years. A spark of defiance, a whisper of strength. The ghost of the girl who got into Columbia, who made films, who had dreams. She's still in there, buried, suffocating, but still alive. Tomorrow, I'll go to the support group. I'll hear other people's stories. I'll start to understand that what's happening to me has a name: exploitation. But tonight, I let myself grieve. I grieve for the mother I lost. I grieve for the promises I misunderstood. I grieve for the 13 years I've spent sacrificing myself on the altar of family obligation. And then, slowly, carefully, I let myself imagine something different. A life where I say no. A life where I choose myself. A life where I honor my mother's real wish. Not that I disappear into Ethan's needs, but that I live bravely and chase my dreams. It's terrifying. It's impossible. It's everything I've trained myself not to want. But maybe, just maybe, it's also the truth I've been running from all these years. I deserve to exist as more than someone else's solution. I deserve to live my own life. And saying no isn't breaking my promise to my mother. It's finally keeping it. The next evening, Grace picks me up at 6:30. I've changed my outfit 3 times, which is ridiculous because it's a support group, not a job interview. But I'm nervous in a way that makes my hands shake and my stomach churn. "You look like you're about to face a firing squad," Grace says as I climb into her car. "I feel like it. It's just people talking about their experiences. You don't even have to share if you don't want to." She pulls into traffic. "Just listen." The community center is in Northeast Portland, a squat brick building that hosts everything from yoga classes to AA meetings. Grace walks me to the basement entrance, and I can see light spilling from a doorway at the end of a long hallway. "You want me to come in with you?" she asks. I shake my head. I need to do this alone. "Text me when you're done. I'll be at the coffee shop around the corner." She squeezes my hand. "You've got this." I watch her leave, then force myself to walk down the hallway. The door is open, and inside I can see a circle of chairs, about 12 of them. Half are already filled with people of various ages, various backgrounds. A man in his late 30s is setting out cookies and coffee at a small table. "Hi," he says, noticing me hovering in the doorway. "First time?" I nod, unable to speak. "I'm Marcus Thompson. I facilitate these meetings. Come on in. Grab some coffee if you want. We start at 7. I take a seat near the door, leaving myself an escape route. More people trickle in, a woman in her 50s wearing compression socks, a younger guy with a surgical scar visible on his forearm, 2 women who arrive together holding hands. At exactly 7, Marcus closes the door and takes a seat. "Welcome, everyone. For those who are new, this is a support group for people who've been surrogates or living organ donors, specifically in situations involving family members. We're here to share our experiences, support each other, and learn to set healthy boundaries." He looks around the circle. "Let's start with check-ins. Just your first name and how you're doing today." I'll start. "I'm Marcus, and I'm doing okay. Had a rough week, but I'm grateful to be here." The check-ins go around the circle. Names and brief updates. When it gets to me, my voice comes out shaky. "I'm Cheska, first time here. I'm not really sure how I'm doing." "That's honest," Marcus says with a warm smile. "Welcome, Cheska." After check-ins, Marcus asks if anyone wants to share. A woman across from me raises her hand. She's about 40 with tired eyes. "I'm Patricia. I've been coming here for 6 months now." She takes a breath. "My brother needed a kidney 3 years ago. I donated without hesitation. He's doing great now. And last month, he asked if I'd consider donating part of my liver because our other brother needs it." My stomach drops. "I said no." Patricia,
Help her once and be done. But every time I said maybe we should stop, she'd cry and tell me I was the only one who could give her a family. By the 4th pregnancy, I was suicidal. My body felt like it wasn't mine anymore, like it existed just to serve her. My chest tightens. The words hit too close. "What made you stop?" someone asks. My therapist told me I had to choose between helping my sister and staying alive. When she put it like that, the choice became clear. David's voice is steady now. My sister didn't speak to me for 2 years after I said no to a 5th time. We're in contact now, but it's not the same. She still thinks I abandoned her. Marcus waits a moment, then speaks. "That's the thing about family exploitation. The people doing it rarely see it as exploitation. They see it as love, as loyalty, as what you're supposed to do for family. And when you finally set boundaries, they experience it as betrayal." The words land in my chest like stones. Another woman shares, then another. Each story is different, but the pattern is identical. Family members treating their bodies like resources, guilt trips disguised as love, sacrifice reframed as obligation. When there's a pause, I find myself raising my hand. My heart pounds. "Hi, I'm Cheska." My voice shakes. "I've been a surrogate twice, for my brother and his wife. I carried her daughter 7 years ago, then her son 5 years ago. And 3 months ago, I donated a kidney to my brother. He had kidney disease and I was a match. I can feel everyone's eyes on me. Last week, they asked me to be their surrogate again, for a 3rd time. They want another baby." The words pour out now, unstoppable. "My doctor says my body is still recovering from the kidney donation. My fertility is declining. I'm exhausted all the time. But I told them I'd think about it. I can't say no. I've never said no to my brother. Not once. Not in 13 years. "Why not?" Marcus asks gently. The question breaks something open. "Because our mom died when I was 16.
She asked me to take care of him. I promised her I would, and I've been keeping that promise ever since." "You've been keeping that by sacrificing your body?" an older woman asks. I guess so." Marcus leans forward. "Cheska, can I tell you something?" I nod. "Your body kept a receipt for every sacrifice, even if they didn't." The phrase hits me like a physical blow. I press my hand to my abdomen, to the scars hidden under my shirt. 2 pregnancy scars, 1 kidney donation scar, evidence of everything I've given. Marcus continues. "I was a surrogate for my sister, 4 times, 4 pregnancies over 6 years. She kept saying just 1 more, and I kept saying yes because she was my sister and I loved her. By the 4th pregnancy, I developed complications. They had to remove my uterus. I almost died." My breath catches. "My sister visited me in the hospital once. And when I told her I couldn't do it again, that I physically couldn't, she stopped speaking to me. It's been 12 years. She's never met my husband. She wasn't at my wedding. Because I couldn't give her a 5th baby, she became nothing to me." Tears stream down my face. "I'm so sorry." "Don't be sorry for me. Be informed by my story." Marcus's eyes are intense. "Your brother is asking you to risk your health, your fertility, your future for his family, after you've already given him 2 children and a kidney. At what point is it enough? When you die on the operating table? When you're too damaged to have your own life? He almost died. He needed the kidney. And you gave it to him. You saved his life. That should be enough." Patricia speaks now. "But it's never enough for people like this. They'll take and take until you have nothing left to give. And then they'll be angry at you for being empty." The woman in compression socks nods. "My daughter needed a kidney. I gave her mine. 2 years later, she needed part of my liver. I said yes because I'm her mother. Now she needs a lung transplant, and she's asking if I'd consider donating part of mine. My doctor said it could kill me. I'm 58 years old. But my daughter says if I really loved her, I'd do it." "Jesus," someone whispers. "I'm here because I need to learn how to say no. I need to learn that loving my daughter doesn't mean dying for her. But it's so hard. The guilt is crushing." Marcus addresses the whole group. "This is what we're here for. To remind each other that boundaries aren't betrayal. That self-preservation isn't selfish. That your body is yours and no one else gets to decide what you do with it." He looks at me specifically. "Cheska, you don't owe your brother your uterus. You don't owe him your eggs. You don't owe him another pregnancy. You've already given him everything medically possible. If he can't accept that, it's not because you failed. It's because his expectations are unreasonable. But he's family. So are you," Patricia says. "You're your own family. You have to take care of yourself, or no one else will." The kneading continues for another hour. More stories, more tears, more recognition of shared pain. When there's a pause, Patricia comes up to me. First time is always the hardest. Hearing that you're not alone, that what's happening to you isn't normal, it's a lot. I feel like I'm going to throw up. That's your body processing truth. She hands me her phone. "Put your number in. Text me if you need to talk. I mean it." I add my number and 3 other people ask for it too. By the time I leave, I have a small network of people who understand, who've lived it, who won't tell me I'm being selfish for wanting to keep what's left of myself. Marcus stops me at the door. "Cheska, I want you to remember something. When your mother asked you to take care of your brother, she didn't mean destroy yourself in the process. She wouldn't want this." "How do you know?" "Because I'm a parent, and I would never want my child to sacrifice their entire life for their sibling. That's not love. That's martyrdom." I walk out into the cool evening air feeling like I've been stripped bare and rebuilt at the same time. Grace is waiting at the coffee shop, and when she sees my face, she doesn't ask questions. She just pulls me into a hug. "How was it?" she finally asks. Devastating. Necessary. I don't know. I pull back. Grace, there was a guy there who was a surrogate 4 times. 4 times. And his sister stopped speaking to him when he couldn't do a 5th. There was a woman whose daughter wants her to donate a lung after already taking her kidney and part of her liver. Jesus, I'm not alone. And my voice breaks. I thought I was crazy for feeling like this was too much, but I'm not. This is too much. What Ethan's asking is too much. Grace's eyes filled with tears. I've been trying to tell you that for years. I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear it until I heard it from people who've lived it. We sit in her car outside my building, and I tell her everything. Every story, every parallel to my own situation, every moment of recognition. Marcus said something. Your body kept a receipt for every sacrifice, even if they didn't. I can't stop thinking about it. It's true, Grace says. Your scars are proof. Your exhaustion is proof. Your fertility is proof. Your body is keeping track of everything you've given, even if Ethan acts like it's no big deal. I look at my reflection in the car window. I need to say no. Yes, you do. I don't know how. You start with the words, no, I can't do this. That's it. That's the whole sentence. He'll be devastated. Let him be devastated. You've been devastated for 13 years, and no one cared. His disappointment is not more important than your life. I get out of the car, but before I close the door, Grace calls out, Cheska, I'm proud of you for going tonight, for listening, for starting to see the truth. Thanks for making me go. Anytime. That's what chosen family does. Chosen family. The words stay with me as I ride the elevator up to my loft. All these years, I've been so focused on blood family, on obligation and promises and debt, that I forgot about the family you choose. Grace, who's shown up for me countless times. The people at the support group, who understood without judgment. Even Dr. Okonkwo, who cares enough to tell me hard truths. My phone buzzes. A text from Ethan. Hey, have you thought more about our conversation? Vanessa's getting anxious to start planning. Planning? Like I'm an appointment to schedule, a resource to book.
For the first time, instead of responding immediately with reassurance, I leave the text unanswered. I'm not ready to say no yet. But I'm also not saying yes. And maybe that's progress. Maybe learning to sit with the discomfort, to resist the urge to immediately please, is the first step toward finding my voice. I think about Marcus, about his sister who abandoned him after 4 pregnancies. I think about Patricia's family who stopped speaking to her after she declined to donate a second organ. I think about the woman whose daughter is demanding her lung. These are the consequences of saying no to people who think they own you. But staying silent, continuing to sacrifice, disappearing piece by piece, those are consequences too. I pull out my phone and text the group chat Patricia created. Thank you for tonight. For the first time in years, I don't feel crazy. Responses come quickly. You're not crazy. You're exploited. There's a difference. Welcome to the club no one wants to join. Here whenever you need us. I set my phone down and look at my reflection in the darkened window. My body is still tired, still recovering, still carrying the weight of every sacrifice. But my mind is starting to wake up, starting to see clearly. And maybe that's enough for tonight. Maybe clarity is the first step toward freedom. I don't know how to say no yet, but I'm learning. And in this moment, that feels like everything. 3 days after the support group meeting, I'm editing footage on my laptop when my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Hi, Cheska, it's Vanessa. Can we meet for coffee? Just the 2 of us. Please don't tell Ethan. I stare at the message for a full minute. Vanessa has never texted me directly. Our communication always goes through Ethan, like he's the hub and we're just spokes on his wheel. Don't tell Ethan makes my stomach twist. I type back, when? Today, I know it's short notice. I'm free this afternoon. There's a cafe on Morrison Street, kind of out of the way. Out of the way. She doesn't want to be seen.
This is getting stranger by the minute. Okay, 2 p.m.? Perfect, thank you. I spend the next 3 hours anxious and distracted. Grace calls during lunch and I tell her about the text. This could be good or really bad, Grace says. Maybe she's going to pressure you on Ethan's behalf. Or maybe, and hear me out, maybe she's not on board with this either. Why wouldn't she just say that at dinner? Because Ethan was there, Cheska. You've told me before that Vanessa always seems uncomfortable when they ask you to carry their kids. Maybe she's been feeling guilty this whole time. Or maybe she's going to tell me I'm being selfish. Only one way to find out. Text me after, and if it goes badly, leave. You don't owe her your time. The cafe Vanessa chose is small and quiet, tucked between a bookstore and a vintage clothing shop. When I arrive, she's already there, sitting in a corner booth, her hands wrapped around a mug of tea. She looks tired, her usually neat hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Cheska, she says, standing up quickly, thanks for coming. Of course. I slide into the booth across from her. What's this about? She doesn't answer right away. A server comes over and I order coffee I don't really want. Vanessa's hands are shaking as she brings her mug to her lips. I need to tell you something, and I need you to let me get through it before you respond, okay? My heart pounds. Okay. Vanessa takes a deep breath. I told Ethan we shouldn't ask you to be our surrogate again. I told him 2 children was enough. I told him we should look into adoption if he really wanted a 3rd child. I freeze, my coffee cup halfway to my mouth. He said no, Vanessa continues, her voice gaining strength. He said adoption wasn't the same. He said our family wouldn't be complete without a 3rd biological child. He said you wouldn't mind because you'd done it before, because it's what you do. She makes air quotes, her expression bitter. Vanessa, please let me finish. She wipes at her eyes. I've watched you sacrifice for us for 7 years. I watched you be pregnant with Lily, saw how hard it was on your body, even though it was a smooth pregnancy. I watched you do it again with Noah. I saw you defer your documentary program. I saw Jordan leave you during the 2nd pregnancy because he couldn't watch you disappear. My breath catches at the mention of Jordan. And then you gave Ethan your kidney. 3 months ago, you had major surgery to save his life, and he's already asking for more. Vanessa's voice breaks. I told him it was too much. I told him you deserve to live your own life. He said I was being dramatic. He said you'd be happy to help. Why didn't you say anything at dinner? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Because I'm a coward. Tears stream down her face now. Because Ethan steamrolls me at the same way he steamrolls you. Because I've spent so many years feeling guilty about my infertility that I let him make all the decisions about our family. She pulls a napkin from the dispenser and dabs at her eyes. Do you know what it's like to be the infertile wife? To have everyone look at you with pity? To feel like you're failing at the most basic biological function? I can't imagine. I had 3 years of IVF before we asked you the first time. 3 years of hormones and procedures and failures. 3 miscarriages, Cheska. Each one destroyed a little piece of me. By the time Ethan suggested asking you to be our surrogate, I felt like I had no choice. Like I was the problem and you were the solution. You weren't fault. I know that now. Intellectually, I know infertility isn't a moral failing, but emotionally? She shakes her head. I've been in therapy for 2 years trying to separate my worth from my uterus, trying to understand that I'm still a whole person even though my body can't carry children. I reach across the table and take her hand. She squeezes back, holding on like I'm a lifeline. When Ethan said he wanted a 3rd child, I told him I was happy with 2, that Lily and Noah are perfect, that our family is complete. He said I was giving up on my dreams. But Cheska, they never were my dreams. They were his. My stomach drops. What do you mean? Ethan has always wanted 3 kids. He's had this picture in his head since before we got married. Big house, 3 kids, perfect suburban family. I wanted children, yes, but I would have been happy with 1 or 2. Or honestly, I think I could have been happy child-free if that's where life took us. But Ethan can't let go of the picture in his head. And because I can't give him that picture naturally, he's decided you should. Like your body exists to fulfill his vision. He doesn't see it that way. Or maybe he does. He does, Vanessa says firmly, and I've been complicit in it. I let him ask you the first time because I was desperate. I let him ask you the second time because I couldn't say no to him. But I'm saying no now. I'm saying this is wrong. Does he know you're here? No. And he'd be furious if he knew. But I couldn't let him pressure you without you knowing the truth. She leans forward. Cheska, if you say no to this, I will support you. Actually, I'm begging you to say no. For both of us.